One of my proudest moments has been standing up for my community against the pipeline. For assuring transparency of government. That's something that hasn't been done here lately.
Some of my biggest issues and my passions on council were conservation of our water sources, clean water, the quantity of water, protection of people's property rights, land conservation, infrastructure in the right place. Wherever you put a road, development is going to come. All of us here today have a common mission. We believe real equality is celebrating our diversity, bringing people up and not tearing people down.
We are going to get to work putting together a climate plan that can move Texas forward and make us a leader in renewable energy and climate solutions. And we are going to work to make sure that we have good enforcement practices when we protect our clean air and our clean water. We're also going to work to make sure more Texans have access to public space and make sure that we protect our most precious resource, our water.
And in the sheriff's office, every citizen pays our salary. We have to give them something back. We have to work on that. On employee intention, it costs a lot of money to train an employee to work either the jail or the street. You can't let these people leave. You have to retain them. You put money into them. Your tax dollars, again, have put these people in the department. We have to retain them.
And one of the strongest proponents that I pushed in my platform and continue today is the three-letter acronym for PI, Public Safety, Infrastructure, and Economic Development. All of those things were the pillars of what I pushed for in my capacity as a city council person, but also in my everyday life as a law enforcement professional.
I've been your county chair for the last 2 years, so I have some priorities. The first one is a long-term priority, and that is to keep Hays County blue, and we will continue to do that. But I have 2 short-term priorities that we're working on right now that I want to talk about. One is voter registration. We have comprehensive voter registration activities going on throughout the county. And the other one is the vote by mail program that we're working on to get people 65 and older to turn in their applications to vote by mail and get those ballots into the mail.
And that's why I'm running for Hays County Democratic Chair. I want to be a voice for the powerless, and I want to empower the Democratic Party and our community.
Fact, Texas is responsible for 51% of the venting and flaring of natural gas for the entire United States. Fact, the Railroad Commission issued 500 permits to allow for flaring in the year 2010. In the year 2018, they issued 5,500. So what distinguishes me from my opponents, that was the last thing, is I have 3 Dallas-based attorneys and myself, an educator, environmental activist, mother of 2, who's working to protect and defend our environment against the greed and destruction of big oil.
And I want to be the advocate that makes sure that public education continues to move forward and improves. I want to ensure fiscal responsibility and oversight for the Texas Permanent School Fund, which is a responsibility of the state board. That is also a $36 billion fund. And I want to ensure that charter schools are held to the same standards as our traditional public schools.
That is why we have to disrupt politics as usual. In 2017, I made a commitment to not take a dime of PAC money, and I've stayed with that commitment because I want you to know that I am here for you. No one can twist my arm behind closed doors when it comes to advocating for Medicare for all, a Green New Deal, common sense gun safety legislation, and immigrant justice.
And I entered this race with the idea that we could, in fact, grow the electorate, turn out more voters by engaging in the same way and the same practices. That if we ask people to enter into the fights, into the politics that follow us home, that follow us to our workplaces, in our healthcare, in our environments, if we ask people to stand up and fight, they will.
We all want essentially the same things: to have a good job, a nice home, a stable family, the ability for our kids to go to good schools and realize their full potential, and to retire with dignity and security after a lifetime of hard work. Those are the principles that I've been fighting for my whole life. And those are the principles I want to go to Washington, D.C. and fight for you to be a reality.
On the fairness of disclosure, I'm a hunter and I have guns. But I will tell you this, my ammunition is in a lockbox with a thumb. My rifles are in a gun safe in a different room. That's part of our issues right now with our gun violence in our nation, is the accessibility for people to get the guns and to get the ammunition, that it's so closely kept. As Wendy and most of the Democratic candidates, I believe in universal background checks, extended universal background checks. I believe in red flag laws. I believe in closing the loopholes of the internet sales as well as the sales at gun shows.
We do have a lot of issues that we're looking at. I think first and foremost is health care. I support access to Medicare for all. I think we have to have a public option going forward. Climate change, I'm tired of having a climate denier as our United States Senator. We need to lead. We have the alternative resources to do so, and the oil and gas companies are willing to work with us. And guns. I want universal background checks, red flag laws, but we have to go further. We also need to ban assault weapons and buy them back.
We want you to be able to invest in your community, the citizens of your county. Invest in them for skilled trades, skilled vocational trades, welding, electrical, plumbing, water technology, wind turbine technology, any relevant technologies that they can, make a decent living with, and you are rewarded for that. If you're disadvantaged, you'll receive 8%. If you're just an advantaged person, but they still need skills as well, you get 5%. But if anybody fails, you get your money back plus 3%. I never want you to stop reinvesting in your communities.
We all just want the same things for our children. That we want them to be safe, to be healthy, and to go to great schools. And I believe every single Texas family can have that, and every single Texas family deserves that, and that is why I am running for United States Senate.
So I am Sema Hernandez, and I ran for United States Senate in 2018, and I got 250,000 votes on as little as $4,000. I want you to remember me as the activist who, as a little girl, experienced the most oppressive conditions working in the fields with my grandparents, picking oranges as chemicals were dumped on top of us. I want you to go out there and vote for the only person who is not accepting any fossil fuel industry money and is not going to be the compromised candidate running up against John Cornyn.